Is this the bloodbath? Pedantic picking at what's been said? You're hopelessly lost. And you're promising a bloodbath as well. Oh, he's just oh, right, I see. So he's just speaking hypothetically now. Okay. You are honestly such a piece of shit. Do you know that? You're literally retarded. Like, what is your problem? You people are so dumb. You can't see past your own biases. What is it you think that's gonna go wrong? I don't understand. Where's the risk? What do you mean? What a insane person President Sunday is, seriously. Right, so we're going to get into this video, which is President Sunday's response to NotSoErudite's response to President Sunday's video. He promised a bloodbath. He said this is going to be a bloodbath. Just to fill you in on my interpretation of events so far, President Sunday released a video where he made some pretty bold claims about NotSoErudite. I thought some of them were, you know, at least interesting and worth consideration. However, NotSoErudite managed to adequately push back upon said claims in a way that satisfied me to the point where I felt that she wasn't misrepresenting her credentials. He is now, rather than do what most normal people would do and have some sort of conversation on stream about this, he's decided to release another video where, you know, he is claiming it's a bloodbath and he's going to tear it to shreds and all this stuff. So I'm, as always, a very honest man, and I'm willing to review it as honestly as I can and see what I think, and then we'll go from there. So let's get into it.
Hello everyone. This is a response to Kyla's, aka NotSoErudite's video, The Sunday Conspiracy, A Tale of Two Streamers, itself a response to accusations levied by me in two videos which I will link in the description. At 97 minutes long, Kyla's video is bloated with repetition and self-reference. It is also appallingly dishonest. Kyla structures her essay as a series of responses to claims she...
Okay, that just seems... It's funny that he's accusing it of being bloated, whilst, you know, he is including things which aren't necessary. Like, you don't need to say it's bloated. You can just say it was dishonest. Why say it's bloated? That's bloat in and of itself.
Tributes to me. However, not only does she fail to accurately represent even half of my arguments, she even goes so far as to outright invent arguments I didn't make out of thin air. Some standout examples include Claim 1, that psychometry is witchcraft. I never claim that psychometry is witchcraft. Something I point out in both of my videos is that Kyla constantly confuses the name of the credential she uses to justify her self-description as a psychometrician or a psychometrist, depending on who she is.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? You could argue that that title is not fully accurate, but the point she's making is that President Sunday in his video basically put up a Wikipedia page talking about psychometry when... which is a different usage of the same word when it's used in terms of psychology. And that's essentially what was being pointed out in that segment. So, you know, I feel like he's kind of playing hide the ball a bit, because he put up a Wikipedia article and put on some like funny music and made it seem like Kyla was ridiculous for using the word in that way, right? That's the point.
She's talking to. At one point, she refers to her undergraduate diploma in psychological assessment as, quote, an undergraduate diploma in psychometry.
Already.
When you input psychometry into Wikipedia, it gives you an article for psychometry, the pseudoscience. I point this out as a bit of a dig, because despite the fact that people in common parlance may and do confuse similar sounding terms, and I even make sure to note that what Kyla actually means by psychometry is in fact psychometrics, the word psychometry is not the technically correct term for psychometrics, and therefore would not appear on a written credential.
And then you have...
Oh my
I have never heard of it.
Is this the bloodbath? Pedantic picking at what's been said? Like, really? Is this what we were promised? What the fuck is this?
I
don't know. Listen, I've got to be honest with you. Already my eyes are glazing over because it is extremely fucking pedantic already. You know. And it's just like, this is supposed to be a bloodbath. Well, we'll give it a chance. I'll watch the whole thing, but Jesus, man.
Graduate certificate?
Graduate diploma in psychometry.
Now, psychometry, as defined by Wikipedia, is, quote, a form of extrasensory perception characterized by the claimed ability to make relevant associations from an object of unknown history by making physical contact with that object, unquote. What she means to say is that she has a graduate diploma in psychometrics, which is concerned with the measurement of psychological constructs, IQ tests, personality tests, etc. No diploma would have psychometry written on it, and the reason why Kyla frequently confuses the writing on her own credential, which she must have worked and applied for over a period of many months at least, is because no such diploma exists. This is Kyla once again failing to accurately reproduce the words on her diploma in order to justify giving herself an impressive sounding title. In Claim 5, I apparently...
Okay. So we're going super in on what? At one time she said it in a certain way. Okay. Oh my god. That is painfully autistic. That is that is painfully autistic. Okay. And also, like, the fact that he's hinging it on this Wikipedia thing, when the Wikipedia itself, if you type in psychometry, gives you the 3 options of the different things. Okay. It's not a misspeak. Well, I guess the argument could be made that it's not, like, exactly precisely accurate. Like, you know, technically she should have used the correct terminology of psychometry, but she said psychometric. I don't fucking even know it's that pedantic. It's literally, if you're getting to this point, if you're trying to make a claim, someone is disproving their credentials, and you're getting to this granular level, you're hopelessly lost. And you're promising a bloodbath as well. What is the bloodbath? At absolute best, you could perhaps claim. But then the thing is like in her video, she has got a lot of detail. I feel like what's happening here is like that in and of itself isn't like he's front loading that into his video, right? He's front loading this into his video, going over the claims for 1 sure. But it's like, why even fucking talk about that? Why not address the fact that she has put forward using his own sources? Like, why not focus on the main things? I don't understand it. But yeah. And to contact people in real life over it. Well, the thing is, I don't really have an issue with checking up on someone's credentials in some way, or like finding out what the truth of something is in that respect. It's the way he's presented the information that's wrong.
Apparently say that you cannot call yourself a psychometrist in Alberta. I never say this. Kyla has made this up. In Claim 11, I apparently accuse Kyla of lying that she made what she calls an in-house measure. I simply never claimed this. I do say that I have been unable to find any information about it, which is true, and this is confirmed by the fact that Kyla says she doesn't want to disseminate it because it is a quote-unquote in-house measure. Now, Kyla may well have co-authored what she has called an in-house youth addictions measure, whatever that is. She has not, to my knowledge, made its name public, and I have been unable to find any reference to it, or to her for that matter, on any public record.
My work, it speaks for itself. I already showed it. I'm not going to show you all the details.
So, I mean, the thing is whilst he's saying, this is the thing, isn't it? He is saying, I didn't specifically say that thing. But the implication of what you're saying is very heavily implied. You know, so it feels like he wants to be able to make these implications, and then when someone comes to the conclusion of the implications, he goes, well, I'm not actually saying that, am I? You know, it's very similar to like the dog whistling type shit of like, you know, saying something with a certain implication, then when queried on the implication, which is obvious to like most people that are listening to it, he goes, well, I didn't actually say that. You know, but yeah,
it is an in-house measure. I don't want to disseminate it.
But not only does the inaccessibility of this measure make her claim that her work speaks for itself absurd, when she ascribes the claim to me that she never worked on any such measure, she is, once again, making things up. A much more interesting example takes place in Claim 12, that, quote, Kyla is not, and has never been in any capacity a psychometrist/psychometrician, unquote. In fact, once again, I never claimed this, but Kyla stitches together multiple clips from 2 different parts of my first video out of context, and even out of chronological order, to make it appear as though I do. Here are the clips as Kyla presents them. Kyla Turner is not a psychometrician, either by qualification or by special permission, and she doesn't have any piece of paper reading graduate diploma in psychometry or in psychometrics. She can't have one, again because there is no category for registration for psychometrists in Alberta. Unfortunately, it appears as if she has no right to either of these titles, This does not mean that credentials justify all claims simply. Often, people with even the most prestigious credentials are wrong. Sometimes they may even lie. Sometimes, true claims or even great discoveries are made by people with no credentials against people with the strongest credentials. And sometimes, someone with no credentials pretends to have them in order to make themselves and the claims they make seem more credible than they really are. Meet Kyla.
Do you still think that I am someone with no credentials, pretending to have them to make myself and the claims that I make more credible than they really are? I'm the real deal, Sunday. Your lack of understanding of my undergraduate degree, my graduate diploma, or my field is not an indictment on me. Stop weaponizing your ignorance.
And here is where that last clip actually appears in my video. Before we begin, I want to talk about the importance of credentials and the grave dangers of falsifying them. Professional and academic titles primarily exist to claim jurisdictional authority to laypersons with respect to a subject. For example, a woman makes a claim concerning the efficacy of vaccines, and when challenged, is able to refer to a professional title as a medical doctor to bolster her credibility. We should listen to her because she's a doctor. She knows what she's talking about. If this claim to authority is distrusted, that is, if it is questioned whether or not she indeed has a right to that professional title, she can produce a written credential proving that she has been granted that right by a legitimate organization. If she can't produce that written credential, however, then she cannot substantiate her claim to authority justifying her claim concerning the efficacy of vaccines, and her claims may be rightfully downgraded to the status of mere opinion. In short, credentials exist to justify claims to authority. This does not mean that credentials justify all claims simply. Often, people with even the most prestigious credentials are wrong. Sometimes they may even lie. Sometimes, true claims or even great discoveries are made by people with no credentials against people with the strongest credentials. And sometimes, someone
what is going
no
on now? What is this?
Pretends to have them in order to make themselves and the claims they make seem more credible than they really are. Notice that by this point in my video, I am speaking purely hypothetically about the function and importance of titles and credentials.
Oh, he's just right, I see. So he's just speaking hypothetically now. Okay. It's so pathetic, right? So I'm thinking, why is he playing this lengthy segment where, you know, he's essentially doing what NotSoErudite said he's doing, which is claiming that she's like not credentialed enough to say the things she's saying. And he's going, well, I'm just speaking hypothetically. Okay, bro. Nice one.
I am not even referencing Kyla. Nowhere do I claim that she doesn't have a bachelor's degree, or a graduate diploma in psychological assessment. I never claim that she never co-authored a measure that was used by the government, and nowhere do I claim that her graduate diploma in psychological assessment is a diploma in witchcraft. The examples I've given are not exhaustive, but they sufficiently demonstrate one of Kyla's favorite strategies for deflecting accusations, which is to make up different accusations that are more convenient and easy for her to rebut. And she is so confident that her viewers are too lazy and ignorant to notice it, that she will directly...
Bear in mind, he says all that, and then he goes on to say the meet Kyla thing. Like, he introduces Kyla. Like, what... Why would you say all that stuff if you weren't wanting to, like, imply that that was the case? This response is fucking dog shit, man. You know? Hopefully he gets to the part where, like, she demonstrated that through these own sources that she was correct in her claims that she's making about herself.
Misrepresent the contents of documents and video clips, even as she shows them on screen. Kyla front-loads her actual response with a bloated manifest of her credentials, putting her impulsive need to embellish them on full, obnoxious display. She makes several incorrect claims to puff up her qualifications, which I'll respond to briefly, but more importantly, she introduces several documents which undermine her rebuttal of my claims.
So I'm going to walk you through what precisely my qualifications are to be speaking on these things, and that way any questions or qualms are answered right here. I have a Bachelor of Arts with a major in honors psychology as my undergraduate education. Many people don't know what an honors bachelor is, including many people who have taken standard bachelor programs. An honors is basically when you combine a major and a minor, credit-wise, into a single topic. So in an honors psychology, I didn't do a minor. The credits required for a minor, I had to commit to psychology as well. This basically creates a specialized bachelor's degree. And in the case of psychology, it's essentially the equivalent of like writing like the MCAT or the LSTAT to get into graduate school for like medical school or law school. We are now, in psychology, recognizing an honors degree as essentially a higher level of education that is required to get into programs that are as competitive as things like a PhD clinical psych program. A lot of people think that an honors psych just means good grades, but if you look at my diploma, it has the honors there and with distinction. The with distinction part is the part that communicates good grades. But that's not all. I also have a graduate diploma in psychological assessment. Rather than telling you myself what that means, I'm going to let our old friend Sunday, Wendy, describe for you what that means. In this program, students acquire psychological assessment skills, specifically in personality and intellectual assessment. These skills are also titled psychometric skills. In some jurisdictions in North America, the term psychometrist is a regulated or protected job title. This is not the case in Alberta. So graduates who receive training in our psychological assessment diploma program, or individuals who have undergraduate degrees with further training from registered psychologists, may be employed in work.
It's also, another thing that I noted as well is when the video came out, there was like no... Like, obviously, the NotSoErudite Present Sunday stuff, like, did take up some level of discourse, like, when it was first happening. But when he released this apparent bloodbath that was supposed to destroy NotSoErudite, nothing. Nothing. It was mainly people criticizing him.
Nerds.
Which I thought was pretty funny. Thank you very much for the bits. This was supposed to be his big moment. He was supposed to destroy her, blow her out of the water, all this stuff, but, you know. I mean, look, I'm willing to watch the whole thing. I just, you know, if the video in the 10 minutes, we are at, like, pedantic, like, nitpicking and, you know, claiming you were just, it's like the intellectual jerking off equivalent of saying I was just joking. Oh, I was speaking hypothetically. Like, come on.
Where they use the job title psychometrist, psychometrician, or psychological assessment. Respectfully, Wendy.
There's plenty else, but I've started as well finish.
Now that we've established what my degree and diploma are in, let's get into this even more. Here is my CV with my education listed. You'll see that I have a graduate diploma in psychological assessment, the graduation date you already know, and I have a BA in honor psychology. And if you want to know, I was a pretty smart kid even into high school as well. Here are the academic awards that I won all throughout university. Most of these academic awards were sufficient to pay for most of my way through my undergraduate education. Here is my research experience. As you can see, I did a thesis on a theory of social anxiety. I did it from the ground up. This means I'm the one who drafted the RIP application for not one, but 2 studies. I'm the one who developed the novel intervention protocol and did the research into the literature around this idea. I'm the one who created the intervention materials, both the video and the worksheets. I'm the one who converted the established measure to analyze social anxiety. I am the one who analyzed the results on a statistical software called SPSS. And I am the one who converted these findings into a formal thesis and presented them. You'll also notice on here the technology use and impact
Jesus
questionnaire.
Christ.
This is the questionnaire that I've openly talked about with Sunday that I created for my government to assess technology use in drug-addicted teens. This measure was both exploring technology use in Canadian teens, and it also was used to evaluate the correlation between substance abuse and technology use. The last 2 are just 2 studies that I was a research assistant on during my 3rd and 4th year of my university. Finally, I'm going to show you the youth parents addiction measure that I first authored. This is it with all the relevant information removed. As you can see, up here is part of the application process, and usually at the front page of a lot of different assessments, there will be an outline of the literature review as to what the purpose of this measure is.
Well, no, this is... Well, no, you're like, wonder what... Oh, you see in the course of the video. I thought you meant something else. I mean, honestly, it does feel like we're just watching NotSoErudite's video again. Oh, this is fucking dire, isn't it? This is dire straits. Jesus. He honestly should have just left it. Why did he oversell this so much as well? Why did he act like this was like, yeah, I've got her now? And it's like nothing. It's like, okay.
This section that I'm showing you is the youth only section. There was also a very similar parent section because we compared the youth reported and parent reported technology use and their drug addiction use. What you'll note is that I am the first author on the measure. I did the bulk of the work. My supervisor is the second and co-author. I then worked for 1.5 years as an addictions counselor. During my work there, addictions counselor became a licensed profession, and I registered as well. While working at the Addiction Recovery Center, I fully revamped their assessment protocols. I established and empirically studied suicide risk assessment.
The thing is, I know that he's criticizing it for being long, and it was a long video. I'll grant that, yeah. The problem is like, this was her, because she's obviously had a lot of issues with like credentials and getting attacked and criticized and all this stuff. This was her way, in response to you, of just laying it all out there so people know what's what with it. So, sure, it's bloated. I could probably even grant that. But it's bloated because she wanted to have something that she can point to go, well, there's all the information about me if you want it. That's my understanding of it anyway. And I don't really understand the point of including all of this. I mean, I guess he's going to come up with the argument and tell us why this is dumb after. It just seems like she's kind of explaining, well, look, here's my reason. Here's like the stuff I've done. Things I say about myself.
By Chud et al., and I updated their mental health assessment forms for intake. I also helped the team create a quarterly evaluation measure to use with clients to track their improvement over time in treatment quantitatively.
She says being in the Honors BA program is equivalent to taking the MCAT or LSAT in medical or law school, respectively. This is false. She emphasizes that she did the bulk of the work on a co-authored paper during her undergraduate degree. This is irrelevant and confers no special title upon her. And imagine if it did. This would imply that she could call herself a psychometrician before...
But I think the point is that, you know, on the basis that she's done the work, she's done the thing that she's calling herself. That's the point that she's making. And the point that she's making in everything that she showed, well, the criteria for in this place in Canada for this stuff is stuff that I'm meeting. I'm meeting the criteria.
Or even getting a bachelor's degree.
This is so dumb, man.
She notes that she became a licensed addictions counselor midway through working as an unregulated addictions counselor. If you go to the Canadian Addiction Counselors Certification Federation website, www.caccf.ca, and look at the registration requirements to be a licensed addictions counselor in Canada, you will note that Kyla's qualifications for being a licensed addictions counselor amount to no more than her being an unlicensed one for some set of hours already. This is not an additional qualification that lends her credibility as an expert on psychology or mental health, but she includes this in order to point out that she updated their forms and helped, note that word, helped, with making a quarterly tool to track patient progress. If you're not paying attention, you might go, oh look, see, she was working as a psychometrician. No, she was working as an unlicensed addictions counselor with a bachelor's degree until registration suddenly became an option, at which point her unlicensed experience fulfilled the requirements for her license. No further credential or title is conferred. She was essentially just put to work in an unregulated position as a student with a bachelor's degree. This was an extremely long-winded way to say that she has a bachelor's degree in honors psychology, which she graduated from, with distinction, credit where it is due, and a graduate diploma in psychological assessment. She might also have added, for the benefit of those who don't know, that this...
I do not understand what the issue with this is at all. He's trying to act like working 300 hours doing it and then being able to qualify, have some qualification as a result of that. Is like, I don't even know what the point of this is at this point. I don't even know what he's trying to point out here that's bad that I should feel outraged about. It is just autistic pedantry. It's like he's just making up his own rules of what should and shouldn't be allowed. When in Erudite's video, she laid out very clearly exactly why she calls herself what she does, and it was all laid out. All the information was there. You know, the information from the Canadian authorities or whatever, the stuff that President Sunday was all there. Boom, 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 easy peasy. But now he's kind of divulging it off into this weird pedantry about how many hours that you have to. I don't even fucking understand what the point of this is, to be honest.
Graduate diploma is a 6-course program focused on personality and intellectual tests, as evidenced by the letter of recommendation she supplies from her supervisor. Now, where Kyla does represent my claims with an acceptable degree of accuracy, her answers are themselves either extremely dishonest or incoherent. Recall that the central claim of my previous 2 videos, which Kyla has referenced, is that Kyla has been misleading about her credentials in order to appear more credible with respect to matter relevant to the areas of psychology and mental health, and that this is problematic, not to say seriously unethical, for several reasons. First, because it gives untrue statements she continues to make the appearance of being the product of professional wisdom. Second, because it misleads people about her expertise when she pontificates on matters within the realm of psychology and mental health. And third, because she sells a service navigating a publicly accessible therapist locator tool, vetting therapists for vulnerable members of her audience on the basis of highly specific psychiatric needs, who she explicitly acknowledges might be suffering from financial hardship, and these people may be parting with their money under the false pretense that she has qualifications and specialized knowledge that she in fact cannot rightfully claim.
So as some of you may know, I actually offer this as a $40 service. With this service, I give you 3 therapists. Sometimes I give you 4, depending on your complex needs, that I've vetted and highly recommend and encourage you to contact. So what I'm going to do first is just vet against the psychologists. So probably what I'm going to do for this individual for price ranges, since I'm offering a service as well, is psychologists are going to be more expensive than like typically somebody who's just like a licensed therapist. So I'm probably going to send her 2 psychologists and then a licensed therapist as a third option in case she needs a little bit of a lower price.
What credentials has Kyla claimed that I find problematic? First, she frequently claims the title psychometrician for herself. For those of you watching this who somehow still do not know what a psychometrician...
Okay, look. You're saying it's a scam. It's a service I wouldn't personally use. Vetting therapists for her audience. I mean, she's just saying, hey, here's some therapists that you might want to contact based on what you've told me. Like, she's not doing any psychology herself. She isn't, like, assessing the person and doing therapy with them. It's not a service I would use. I don't see much value in it personally, so I wouldn't use it. But does that mean I think other people shouldn't be able to use it? Like, I don't really care. If people look at it and go, oh, this is going to help me out, then fine. You know, if it helps someone get to a therapist, good luck to them. But I don't really see the value in it myself, so I wouldn't use it. It feels like it's one of those situations where you can look at it and you can go, okay, this seems kind of pointless to me, but you can understand why other people might want to use it and don't feel any impetus to stop them from doing it, right? Is she qualified to set up people with therapists? I don't think you need a qualification to do it. I don't think there's any need to qualify yourself to you know, collate some therapists and say, hey, here's some therapists you might find beneficial. Okay, follow the content. You are hopelessly retarded. Who needs qualifications in mental health? It's not mental health. It's not the mental health you need a qualification for to go, okay, here's some therapists in your area that you might want to, that you might find useful or you should get in contact with. What fucking planet are you on? Anyone can recommend a therapist, yeah. She's charging for the service because she doesn't know the people that are coming to her for the help. You know, get that fucking bag. It's like the equivalent of using Google, but it's so, you know, but they're paying for someone else to do it. She's not gonna. What? Alex, you are honestly such a fucking piece of shit. Do you know that? You're literally fucking retarded. Paying for someone else to use, sure, you can call it that if you want. Sounds like you don't see much value in the service, so don't use it then. I'm not going to use it. But this is what you people are so dumb, they don't understand, right? Just because you don't think something has value and you're not going to use it yourself doesn't mean that you can set this ethical impetus that someone else can't do it. Like, on what basis are you doing that? It doesn't make any sense. What is she doing that you think, like, do you think she should not be able to do it? Is that the thing? Because that's what it seems like is being said here. It just is such a pointless, like, with all the things to be concerned about. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you want to make a video saying, I think this is a dumb service or whatever, fine. But he's trying to make out like she's using her credentials to push this service and there's some sort of unethical or immoral thing going on. I just don't see it. That's simple as that.
Psychometrician is. A psychometrician is a scientist who can independently develop assessment tests and has the authority to validate tests made by others. Second, she claims that psychometrician is her highest level of professional training. What this implies is that she has had formal training which specifically gives her the right to call herself a psychometrician on the basis of that training, or that she has worked professionally as a psychometrician and that is her training. Third, she has claimed that she has a graduate degree, not merely a graduate diploma.
She leverages a title to do a service for money that she might not actually be qualified to do. Will, what qualification do you need if someone comes to you and says, hey, I'm having trouble finding a therapist? What qualification do you need to give an answer to that question? Answer me that. Are you fucking brain dead or something? What qualification do you need? If you need 0 qualifications, why pay for it? Good question. So don't pay for it then. People charge money for things all the time that I think's dumb that I wouldn't use. It doesn't mean I'm going to make a big deal out of the fact that they do it. I think the fucking established titles things is fucking retarded as hell. But if they want to do that and people want to give them money to do it, then more power to them. I don't fucking care, do I? Like, what is your fucking problem? You people are so dumb. You can't see past your own biases. I'm probably going to pay someone to do I could do my own taxes next year, right? I could spend time going and looking into fucking this, that, and the other of my taxes, but I'm probably going to pay someone to do it for me. Because it's just easier for me. You know, there's lots of things. You know, I could clean my own house, but I'll probably, you know, I haven't done it yet, but I might pay someone to do that, even though I could do it myself, because it's time and money and I can't be fucked to do it. God, people are so weird about this. I don't get it. Who cares? Like, you know, if you don't want to use a service, don't use a service. I don't think there's any need to do this weird thing where it's like we've got to act like she's doing something terrible. People are calling her the next Dr. K. It's not like Dr. K at all. It's totally different to Dr. K.
In my videos, I claim that 1. Kyla cannot call herself a psychometrician because she is neither employed nor credentialed as one. 2. That psychometrician is not her highest level of professional training, as this implies credentials and experience that she does not in fact have. And 3. That psychometrist is not a graduate degree as she claims, at least not where she graduated, and this last point is interesting for reasons I'll return to shortly. Kyla's strategies to counter the first 2 claims are threefold. First, she insists that psychometrician and psychometrist are interchangeable terms, and that she is therefore within her rights to call herself a psychometrician because she is within her rights to call herself a psychometrist.
There is no formal certification for psychometrists or psychometricians.
There's some, you know, what is it? Where you go and buy like a laptop or a piece of electronic equipment, and they go, right, we got the extended warranty here. It's an extra $8.99 a month. But if this breaks in that time, right, we'll get it replaced. I think that service fucking sucks dick. And I'm, you know, never going to fucking buy it. But do I think that, you know, it's dumb? But I'm not going to, you know, give money for that. So you're doing this thing where you're going, oh my God, but wait, laptop's not mental health. Yeah, if Kyla was saying, give me money and I'll give you therapy, yeah, I'd agree with you. But she's not doing that, is she? She's introducing some options, at which point they can decide if they want to go further with an actual trained therapist. I think you're just trying to wind me up. Some of these points are so retarded, you've literally got to try to wind me up. Trying to wind me up. That's all I can think.
In Alberta. Yet there are a plethora of positions labeled as psychometrician, psychometrist in Alberta, and people use that title for themselves. Here is that same Government of Alberta job posting for psychometrist that I outlined required.
I've done some research. Okay. Is Erudite liable if something goes wrong? What is it you think that's going to go wrong? I don't understand. Where's the risk? What do you mean? She says, hey, here's some therapists you can contact. They contact the therapist and they like them and they continue. They don't. They discontinue it. Then that's on the therapist, isn't it? What do you mean?
Penis.
Thank you for the sub.
Only the completion of a bachelor's degree. Here is a different job posting, this time for a senior psychometrician. You'll see that even at a senior psychometrician level for the Government of Alberta, the qualifications required is a master's degree in a related field plus 5 years related experience or equivalent as described below. Equivalency, a bachelor's degree plus 7 years of related experience. Here's a job ad from Quebec for a psychometrician, and it only requires a post-secondary degree in arts, psychology, science, health, or a combination of education and training and experience deemed equivalent. Here's another job posting, this time from the Government of BC, for a psychometrician position. I'm going to outline here what's very interesting. The psychometrician position requires planning, implementing all sorts of psychometric properties. This is very high-level psychometric work, where they're essentially assessing, developing, supporting, doing research with psychometric studies itself.
Thank you for the
What does it require? A bachelor's degree or higher in educational measurement, psychometrics, statistics, computer science, data science, or related field. My graduate diploma in psychological assessment would qualify me for this job.
Second, she insists that she is within her rights to call herself a psychometrician in the present tense because while completing her undergraduate degree, she co-opted.
I think she offers like a refund as well, doesn't she?
Welcome to Chud Nation.
Anyway, come on, this is all so dumb. Just give me some money. Give me some money, I'll recommend you a therapist right now, okay? The therapist is called Mr. A Bathtub, and you need to see their assistant, Miss Toaster, okay? That's my recommendation for a therapist, all right? I just, like, look, you know, like I've said, I think it's dumb. I think personally, I wouldn't use the service. What more do I say? I'm not going to get on board with this fucking calamitous, like, extreme soying out about it when it's just someone, you know, charging money for a service, which I personally wouldn't use, but someone might find some use in it, and so they're going to use it, and that's up to them. I don't understand what the fucking problem is.
Chat, though I've never played Roblox, I'll suggest ways to Roblox yourselves free of charge. Guy Jacket.
Thank you very much for the bits. I honestly, you're barking at the wrong tree as well, because I am fucking sick of all the everything gets called a scam nowadays. Everything's a fucking scam. You know, all this responsibility gets put on the fucking shoulders, like, away from the consumer and all of this, you know? And it's all played up as well, isn't it? You know, mentally ill, vulnerable people, you know, as if all the people that are coming to Kyla are fucking suicidal. Please, I'm going to kill myself if I don't get a therapist. There's probably people that are just like, oh yeah, I've got some shit I need to work out. I've got $40. Yeah, just help me find a therapist. Oh, okay, 3 options. Great. Bang. Call them. You know, whatever. Like, it's not going to be people that are like, I highly doubt it's going to be people going that are like, I'm literally going to kill myself unless I can find a therapist. I have doubts it's 100% ethical. Name me the ethical issue then. What is the ethical problem? Explain it to me. What is the ethical issue at play? It's like no more or less ethical than any similar service where, you know, someone is suggesting like they can recommend a certain thing to you or whatever. I don't know. There's like other things like this, right? Farming mentally ill parasocials with misleading credentials. But the thing is, it's not been established that she's being misleading in her credentials either. So you can throw that out straight away. Farming mentally ill parasocials is what all streamers do anyway. So, you know, you're onto a fucking eye into nothing there. Oh. Anyway, yeah, Will, I don't know if we need to be taking ethics lessons from you. That's for fucking sure.
Authored what she calls an in-house measure. Third, Kyla insists that she may call herself a psychometrician because her graduate diploma in psychological assessment specifically permits her to, and because she has worked as a psychometrist professionally. Once again, presuming these titles are identical. The first strategy fails because her claim is not supported by the evidence. Psychometrist and psychometrician are almost all reputable sources insist on their distinction on the grounds of supervisory authority, i.e., whereas the psychometrist only administers tests, the psychometrician has the authority to create and validate tests without superior oversight. She claims that job postings don't make the distinction, but not only does the bare fact of imprecise terminology on a handful of job postings not determine what is appropriate for her to self-label as, especially when addressing a lay audience, her sole evidence consists of there being similar requirements for job postings labeled psychometrician and psychometrist online. This does not make the roles equivalent. Moreover, if you actually read the job postings she presents, the psychometrist postings explicitly state that successful applicants would be working under the supervision of a registered psychologist, whereas the postings for psychometrician do not. It is also immaterial, because Kyla has never been employed under the title psychometrician anyway. She cannot claim the title of psychometrician on the basis of a job title she has not acquired. Moreover, the job search site Indeed, which is one of the most reputable and commonly used in the world, and appears to have been where she pulled the listings from for her own video, differentiates firmly between psychometrists and psychometricians, and unambiguously states that these terms are not interchangeable. Kyla has found a department somewhere which she does not work for which offers a professional title, which she does not have, that may technically accept her on the basis of her current credentials. Perhaps she should apply. The second strategy fails because co-authoring a paper with a professor in—
Is there anything that's actually like new in this video? I don't really feel like he's adequately dealing with what she said in her video. He's just kind of like saying the same shit he said before again. I don't know. And it's all very pedantic and nitpicky rather than actually engaging with the main thrust of what she said in her video. How is this a bloodbath? Why would you fucking G this up so much as some sort of fucking bloodbath? Why would you even say that? Just be like, you know, a couple of claims that she's made I disagree with. I'm gonna go over it. Or something, I don't know.
In the course of completing your undergraduate degree does not give you the right to take on the title of an advanced position in your field. Certainly not a title which requires credentials one has not yet achieved. And again, imagine if it did. Think about what this would imply.
I know you're memeing, Doobie, but I'll answer anyway. How much is he paying you to shill for a Google search grift? I mean, we've had no contact about this, and I've said I wouldn't use it. I doubt that anyone that's watching me is thinking, damn, Chud really thinks I should use this referral service, so I'm going to go do it right away. All I'm saying is if you want to, that's up to you, but I personally wouldn't.
This would mean that both her bachelor's degree in psychology and her graduate diploma in psychological assessment are effectively meaningless, because all Kyla had to do to call herself a psychometrician was to technically work on a paper involving both psychology and measurement in some capacity, even when the paper in question was co-authored by a superior who does have validating authority. After all, the measure was not validated by her, and when the test itself appears to self-describe as not being psychometrically tested. Her third strategy fails, not only because she has implicitly already devalued her graduate diploma in psychological assessment to nothing by insisting that she is justified in self-describing as a psychometrician because of a single paper she did in her undergrad. She misrepresents the contents of the documents she supplies as evidence that it so licenses her to self-refer as a psychometrician. That being a letter of recommendation from her supervisor, which only says that, due to these being unregulated terms in Alberta in particular, recipients of this diploma may work in jobs with the titles psychometrist, psychometrician, or
yeah, I mean, that just demonstrates Erudite's point perfectly. What is his disagreement with this part? Mr. Girl just being goofy at this point. Alex is getting banned forever. I'm sick of his fucking retarded shit. If he's going to come in and that's going to be his statement after all the shit he said to me about Mr. Girl, now he comes in and goes, oh, he's being goofy. Get the fuck out of here, loser.
Psychological assistant. Moreover, in my own video, I supply definitive proof in the form of another email from that same supervisor, by sheer dumb luck since I only emailed academic advising, that this graduate diploma does not license one to self-refer as a psychometrician or a psychometrist for the same reason that it licenses one to take on jobs with this title. It is unregulated. Ergo, it is not the name of a credential or a certification in the province in which Kyla was educated, and she is not thereby entitled to unqualifiedly call herself a psychometrician to mislead laypeople into thinking she has stature in her field. Not only does Kyla brazenly misrepresent documents as she puts them on screen, even implicating her university supervisor in the deception, what her arguments amount to is an attempt to grasp for an excuse to play fast and loose with titles when presenting herself to a lay audience as an expert in matters of psychology and mental health, as well as to psychologically and financially vulnerable clients. When selling her services as specially qualified,
but the thing is,
therapists and psychiatrists.
I think that, like, God, it's funny actually, because Mr. Gill did actually describe it perfectly in the terms of puffing the chest out a bit. But President Sunny's taken it so far to act like she's like completely misrepresenting herself, you know, to like take advantage of mentally ill people. I don't know. It's just so excessive a way of describing what's going on, you know? Okay, Will's got a take. I'm so dead. Literally one Google search. Who should I talk to if I want to be referred to a therapist? Okay. If you want to do that and that's what you want to do, then that's fine. What I'm saying is, whilst I don't think the service is of use to me, if someone feels there's value in paying someone to do that process for you because you feel like, just then fine. What's the fucking problem? I don't get what you don't understand about this, Will. People pay for convenience all the time, and you might think it's silly. There's some people that think it's crazy that someone might pay someone to clean their house because it's like such an easy job for themselves to do, but they still do it.
On the basis of her professional assessment of their complex needs. Worse than this, however, Kyla never responds to my accusation that she falsely claimed.
Yeah, true. Will, I mean, yeah, Will is obviously a little bit, you know, he's got a checkered history when it comes to paying people for services.
Will would pay
Thank you for the bits,
for 30
F-bombs.
videos. Why would you expect him to understand paying for this?
True. Oh my god, F-bombs popping up on Will as well. She's preying on the parasociality of her audience. Those are the only people who would buy this shit. I mean, the word praying is so crazy there. Like, she's tapping in to that, sure. Is she preying on that? I don't know. Has anyone actually asked the people that have used this service, like, what they think of it? I don't know. Has anyone come forward with a bad experience?
Welcome to Chud Nation.
Fuck Will and his unpaid labor. Chud garfas, chud garfas, chud garfas, chud garfas.
Or they're all dead by their own hand.
Have a graduate degree. Despite this being the most severe and obvious case of her telling an outright lie about her credentials, and despite her demonstrating knowledge of the video in which I present this screenshot, she doesn't acknowledge it at all. Perhaps she is afraid that if she lies here, the truthfulness of it will be confirmed by the person to whom she was responding. I just don't know. As it is, we know she was aware of this claim, we know she was aware of the evidence upon which it was made, and we know that she did not, in 97 minutes of rebuttal, in which she constantly misrepresents facts, data, and documents, about myself, about my claims, about her field, about her credentials, and about the positions.
Wait, is this from Spicy Chat? Continue to explain to me how I'm a fake academic. Wait, was this around the time that we had that debate? Was she getting shit by Spicy Chat? No, this was before Spicy Chat. This is before Spicy Chat existed. Isn't it? I can't remember. Timelines. I bet Spicy Chat isn't even spicy. Well, people seem to think it's just, you just go in there and say slurs, but it's like a little bit more than that. You know, I don't know. It's got its own little community thing going on. But yeah. Anyway.
Of her supervisors, over and over again, she supplies no account whatsoever for her falsely claiming, in text, that she is, quote, a psychometrist, which is a graduate degree, unquote. Now, my initial video wasn't perfect either. I also made mistakes, and Kyla has been sure to capitalize on them, so in the interest of clarity, and because I care about accuracy, I'll own and correct these mistakes before we continue. First, I claim Kyla self-described as a psychometrist before convocating. I claimed this on the basis of my understanding of Concordia University's convocation schedule, and the fact that her graduation is registered in the class of 2022 edition of the Edmonton Journal. She only supplies her word as a counter-argument to this, but I am not on reflection confident enough in the force of my own evidence to sustain this claim. Second, with respect to mental help, I incorrectly state, on the basis of all traces of the material produced for mental help being inexplicably inaccessible to the public, the almost total state of neglect of the Facebook page after September 2021, and the website being defunct, that none of the promised mental help resources ever materialized. As it turns out, roughly half of them materialized before being swiftly taken down within the year. We'll return to this in a moment, but that's basically it. Now, unable to defend her misrepresentation of her credentials, Kyla's final strategy has been to try and make it appear as though any scrutiny—
I mean, she's already explained what happened with that, yeah, pretty adequately. I guess we'll see what he's got to say about it, but yeah.
—into her claimed credentials is inappropriate. In the latter half of her video, she claims I accuse her of embezzling government funds. Nowhere in either of my videos do I even imply any such thing. In fact, I explicitly deny in both that I claim—
No, do not imply— that he is so full of shit, it's unbelievable. He absolutely fucking implies it. He's full of shit. I mean, I thought he might go with that I didn't say that, but he said he didn't even imply it. What a fucking sack of shit liar this guy is, seriously.
She has committed any kind of fraud vis-a-vis the Canadian government. In fact, I only mentioned mental health in my first video as part of an explanation for how I first came to be aware of Kyla's specific credentials. I am therefore not going to bother addressing this section as it is actually meaningless to my argument, except to make a single observation. You see, despite acknowledging at the end of her video that I have not doxed her because all of the information I mentioned in my video was on public record—
To be clear, I'm not actually accusing him of doxing me.
Often because she herself specifically promoted that information, you've seen how Kyla redacts information as general as the province in which she obtained her credentials, which are part of the justification of her own claims. Not only is this appallingly disingenuous, it undermines the purpose of credentials categorically. If we can't tell where credentials are from, there is no way to confirm their validity or what titles they confer or where. This is what credentials are for. It is also completely immaterial.
But the problem, I'd agree. So the thing is like, I'd agree with that if someone was calling themselves a doctor and they weren't willing to clarify like where they graduated and stuff from. Sure, right? But I feel like a video has kind of very adequately explained all the psychometrician shit. So I don't really understand why like we need more information about that. I don't know. Like I personally didn't think, oh yeah, the psychometrician shit, we need to go and dig up what school it's from and find out more information about it. Oh, hey, Evil Fossil, how's it going? I saw you talking some mad shit about me in another chat earlier. I'm not sure if you remember because perhaps you're in the middle of some sort of, you know, schizo episode or something, but maybe you didn't realize what was going on. But yeah. Yeah, you ain't shit, bro. You don't be saying nothing. What's up, son? I'm good. Hope you're doing well as well, mate.
As the fact of the matter that she has not only been deceptive and obscurantist about her credentials, she has outright lied about them, stands regardless. Now, Kyla frontloads the section on mental health with an extensive explanation of how she is not responsible legally for the project failing, for materials disappearing or never coming to light, or for the allocation of resources. She makes sure that we know that whatever went wrong with mental health, it was the fault of her social media manager, the staff of Adiera, the editing crew, anyone but her.
This project, at a recovery center with active clients, with no technical—
I mean, this is very standard. Like, I think everyone that was watching NotSoErudite's video was like, oh yeah, this is like standard corporate shit, right? You have all these problems and these fucking issues and blah, blah, blah. It was like, I don't really understand what blame I'm supposed to put on NotSoErudite for all that happening.
Technical due date has just been left on low priority. There's nothing I can do about it. I was contracted for a time, and now I am not. Some people, since the drop of Sunday's video, have tried to argue that since I was part of the leadership team as the head of the program, I am still personally responsible for the assets not being delivered. This is ridiculous for multiple reasons. Number one, I was an independent contractor. This is my contract agreement. In it, you will see that I am exclusively hired for service, which means everything else belongs to my mother company. The second reason this is ridiculous is because even if I was an employee and not a contractor, if my employment ends, I am not responsible for the assets after I leave. This is how every job works. If I hand it off to a new employee who is taking over the role, which in this case was the communications director at the company, I'm not responsible. I don't own the assets. There is nothing I can do. Even if I wanted to, I can't force this company to release the video. They are not my videos. They are the company's. When you terminate your work at a company, your responsibilities end and are typically transferred to your replacement. That's what's happened. I am not responsible for the videos not being released. Here is the official contract agreement and its agreed end date.
Oh, hey, Stream Elements has you on their sponsorship emails. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've seen that. I had a couple of people come and ask me about it. I was a bit rude to them. I feel a bit bad about that now. But yeah, they sent me a message ages ago and said, "Oh, hey, can we put you on the emails when we send them out?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I think it's just something like, it's always worked really well for me or something. Little old me. Anyway, Stream Elements need to get me a fucking sponsorship stat. I think they did offer me a HelloFresh one or something. I want a game that I can get people to download. That's my favorite ones. Anyway.
Contractor, independent contractor agreement. Kyla, this contract will be valid from this date of agreement signed until May 7th, 2022. So what did happen to our program?
Welcome
well,
to
we did
Chud
launch
Nation.
in September 28th, 2021.
Hey,
Here's the launch.
to the
Adult
sub
ADHD,
Evil
September
Fossil.
28th, 2021. Here's our second video on October
Thank
12th,
you.
2021. Here's our third video, Stages of Addiction. Here's our fourth video. Here's our fifth video. Here's our sixth video. Here are also photos where I was on scene filming these things. Here's what happened. Without getting into details or company names, the editing company that we originally hired had delayed the release by more than 7 months, mostly because their artist was really, really slow in some of the editing processes. After the release began, they agreed to a 2-week release schedule. However, they very quickly fell behind again and could not release swiftly. We decided to cut our losses in December and let that team go. That meant we had to spend the next couple of months finding a new editing team, sending them all of the raw data, collecting the raw data, and then beginning to re-release them again. The problem is that my contract was only for a year. So we talked to the government of Alberta and they agreed to allow my contract to be extended another 6 months. And I agreed to a massive salary cut to try to get the program out in the next 6 months. By March 7th, 2022, my company had hired a new team to re-edit our videos so that we could launch with a cohesive brand. Now, Sunday probably doesn't believe me as to why my team wouldn't communicate with me about the release, but they actually did. The problem is that the release took so long with the new editing team as well that my extra 6 months of work was up. So I agreed to be on volunteer to help them still edit the videos. And in September, they contacted me with a new release schedule that they had planned. Hey team, including Kyla, who's doing the
Yeah, I don't understand what the point of including all of this is.
final
But
review of
we'll
videos
see.
for us. September 8th, 2022. We are planning a September 26th launch of the new mental health videos. Our first will be What is Addiction, followed by a week release and each Monday until all 13 videos have been released, December 19th. The YouTube campaign will end by December 26th. Here is the schedule of videos released. Please let me know if you have any other comments on the schedule. Some might know, but you promised 18. Correct. But when you have to cut your losses and hire a new team, we didn't actually even get to film the last couple of videos. The last 5 videos, we just never got a chance to film, and we needed the money we would have paid them for those 5 videos to pay a new editing team. So we had to cut our losses and accept only 13. And in case you're wondering, my former company is still working on these. The issue is they've had a whole bunch of recent resignations.
Instead, why don't you tell me about how you got that metric thing at the bottom of your stream is something I can have? Yeah, if you use Streamlabs or Stream Elements, you can include a bar that has that on there and it calculates all your tips and subs and bits and whatnot. God, this is a bit... I've already seen this once. Jesus.
They've had some people retire, and the girl who was heading up the program after me went on mat leave.
I won't speculate as to why she is so obsessively defensive about her involvement with mental health, but I could not help but notice that despite...
Because you, despite your fucking dishonesty here, implied that she defrauded money from the Canadian government. Like, of course she's going to be fucking defensive. God, this guy's fucking so autistic. It's unreal. Why are you being so defensive? What the fuck?
rigorously censoring information to make it appear as though there was some impropriety in referencing information she has made public about her credentials and work history, she makes sure not to censor the identity of the specific Adiera employee and their place of work she claims is actually responsible.
Okay, so I'm going to just level with you here. I saw this already and I've already looked at this, right? Okay. I thought that she had not censored this. And I thought, damn, Kyla really didn't censor this information. That's wild. That's like a bit, you know, you should at least censor the name of this person. There's no reason to. This is Kyla's own censoring. Kyla has already censored this. So what he's claiming is showing the details of the person is communication lead blank center. How the fuck are you supposed to find who this person is off the back of this?
For mental health failing to materialize, providing viewers with a clear path to identifying this individual and their workplace in particular.
What clear path? I wouldn't even know where to fucking start. Where would you even begin? This is mental. I don't understand what, like, on the basis of this, I mean, she's revealed enough information while censoring key details, so you can't, the whole point is you can't find him unless you like go and dig it up like he does, like President Sunday does. I guess President Sunday is looking at this as like from his own levels of autism, but most people are looking at this and they're going to make no effort to contact this person, more so because Kyla's point wasn't, look, this is the person that fucked it all up, right? All Kyla is saying is, hey, this isn't on me. Like, I was part of the project. There was a company that was primarily dealing with it, and some errors and issues came up, and, you know, whatever. God, this is insanity.
This makes Kyla appear to me, at least, not only as a compulsive liar, but as someone willing to throw others under the bus as rhetorical fodder for her audience, or as an alibi in the conceivable event that she actually does fear some kind of repercussion. So in conclusion,
he's insane.
Where Kyla doesn't...
He's literally just making shit up now. Where's he getting that from? What a fucking insane person President Sunday is, seriously. You know? Extremely autistic loser. That is President Sunday fucking summed up. I just don't, like, what was he thinking with this video? Oh, Jesus, it's been so boring.
Misrepresent, she outright fabricates. The majority of her video is irrelevant to my actual claims, and exists solely to distract from them. Not only does she fail to adequately answer any of my claims against her, these being that she has misrepresented her credentials, that she has used the reputation cultivated by these misrepresentations to give her often anti-scientific and toxic opinions the appearance of coming from a place of credibility she has not earned, and that she has outright lied about what these credentials entail. By the blatantly dishonest way she has misrepresented information, lied about the nature of the claims I have made against her, and opened the door for other people to be targeted by claims which I did not make against her, but which she fabricated in order to portray herself as a victim. She has demonstrated that she is an astonishingly dishonest and disingenuous individual with absolutely no sense of responsibility to her audience, to her clients, to her field, to her colleagues, or to the truth, and that everything she says should be treated with extreme suspicion and prejudice. She should be utterly ashamed of herself. As always, thank you for listening.
True.
And take care.
I agree, she should.
Okay, when it comes to the topics, dark triad. Okay, when it comes to the topics of dark triad, of sociopathy, of psychopathy, shut the fuck up, Ashley. Nobody gives a fuck. Shut the fuck up.
Chill, bro. Can you chill?
Wait, no, hang on.
Wait, Kyla, you got guys.
I mean, Kyla.
Listen, Ashley.
Can you please?
When it comes to the topics relating to psychology in any way, I am your expert, okay? I just fucking am. And every single time I talk in an educational tone, if you feel condescended to, that's a fucking
cringe.
self-report on you. If you don't know the words that I'm using, if my vocab's too big for you, if Kevin's too fucking smart for you, that's on you, bitch. That's your personal offense. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you feel offended. Be offended. Be more offended, okay? If you can't keep up with a fucking conversation, if you don't know what a fucking analogy is, I don't give a shit that you feel condescended to. You should. You should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed to talk in public.
Wait, what did you say at the start of this?
Use socio.
Thank you for listening. And take care.
Okay, when it comes to the topics of dark triad, okay, when it comes to the topics of dark triad, of sociopathy, of psychopathy, shut the fuck up, Ashley. Nobody gives a fuck. Shut the fuck up.
Chill,
Who the fuck is Ashley?
bro. Can you chill?
Wait, no, hang on.
Wait, Kyla, you got guys.
I mean, Kyla.
Listen, Ashley.
Welcome.
Can you please?
When it comes to the topics relating to psychology in any way, I am your expert, okay? I just fucking am. And every single time I talk in an educational tone, if you feel condescended to, that's a fucking self-report on you. If you don't know the words that I'm using...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels... I think she's saying to this Ashley person, right? Like, she's trying to say, like, this is the chest puffing that fucking... Even Mr. Girl spoke about in his thread. Like, yes. But, like... If Ashley's a retard, then yeah, I don't know. It's kind of justified, isn't it?
If my vocab's too big for you, if Kevin's too fucking smart for you, that's on you, bitch. That's your personal offense. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you feel offended. Be offended. Be more offended, okay? If you can't keep up with a fucking conversation, if you don't know what a fucking analogy is, I don't give a shit that you feel condescended to. You should. You should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed to talk in public and sound so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the context that I was originally reading it in was more so like she was trying to be like, oh yeah, I know about psychology, motherfucker. But if it's like some idiot woman... Like, I don't know, what's the context of that clip? I don't really care about, you know, unless we're going to argue that, oh, someone listened to that clip and then was like, oh man, this comment in the heat of the moment, talking shit to someone, I'm going to go and buy this psychology service. I don't fucking know. Oh, it's so stupid. Anyway, there we go. But guys, I've got good news, okay? So this was something he posted on his YouTube the other day, okay? Look at this. After the premiere tomorrow, I'll be deliberately moving away from engaging with content in the Destiny sphere. There is nothing of interest going on, and it is only toxic. I'm going to be focused on productive material, pushing out more video essays and engaging with creators actually trying to contribute to our collective understanding. There we go. He's done with it, he says. He's done with it. However, there's a problem. There's a problem with this. There is a problem. This isn't the first time he said this kind of thing, okay? This isn't the first time he said this kind of thing. This is from the 14th of November last year. I'm not mentioning these people again, and I'll address why in as much detail as necessary tomorrow. But Steven and everyone surrounding him is a fucking idiot. So he's having some trouble. He's having some trouble staying away. The problem he's got is the only time anyone's interested in his content is if he's doing some stupid drama shit. That's it. That's the reality of it. But he can't just be honest about that. He's got to come up with this, oh yeah, this time that's it. That was really important to do that, but now I'm not going to talk about them anymore, and I'm moving on to more important things. He does it every time. Just go and make your own little fucking stupid ass video essays about, you know, whatever. Like, you can just do that. There's nothing stopping you. You know, but there we go. He is, like, obsessed with drama. He can't help himself. I don't know if he still does it, but there was a time when after we had our beef, he would, like, just monitor on my Discord, and then, on Morning Reservoir, and then whenever, like, someone posted something about him, he'd screenshot it, or someone would screenshot it for him, presumably, and send it to him, maybe. I don't know how the dynamic at play. But he'd, like, post it on his Twitter. And it was like, bro, our beef ended weeks ago. Why are you still, like, monitoring my Discord? Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's whatever. Like, do what you want, I guess. But it's just kind of, you know, wild that he can't seem to break this trend. Oh, yeah. He came in here, was, like, talking shit about my view count. That was really weird, wasn't it? I can't remember. Does anyone have the thing of what he said? I can't remember. But he was like, he was trying to talk mad shit about my views or something. It was really weird. Oh yeah, I can bring up his logs, can't I? I just find it so odd when people do this flex it, unless it's like in service of some broader point. But to like flex your view count, to talk about someone's view count just out of nowhere is like a dig is so weird to me. Especially when, you know, he himself is not really getting that many live viewers from what I understand. But I just don't pay attention to like that sort of thing. I mean, you know, in terms of like, if I'm having a beef with someone, right, I'm not like obsessed with their viewership. I'm not like thinking, oh, what viewers have they got? I need to go and see. The only time I might talk about it is if it's relevant to the matter at hand, you know? But yeah, really weird. But I wasn't, where is he? There he is. Beautiful. Look at this. Oh. You can see when he used to like me. Here we go. Destroy this creature, I'm out. That man and his black demon eyes. And then this is when the drama started. It's because Mr. Girl was blowing. This is all you've got. God, you're such a bitch. Have fun, dipshit. Worthless, cowardly liar. Keep bleeding, bitch. That's the funniest thing to me is whenever someone is like, they're trying to attack me because I'm bleeding or losing something. But it's like, I'm fine. Honestly, I'm doing great. You know, he's still VIP. Yeah, feels petty to take it away. Normally, what happens is if I run out of VIP slots, I go through and remove ones that don't come to my chat anymore. That's how I tend to do it. There's been maybe a couple. Generally speaking, I tend not to get rid of VIP. It's like it feels a bit spiteful. I don't know, weird. But normally, it's to make space for other people.